Hello, everyone. Michael Jacobs coming to you from an early morning in September in the office, catching up on some of our new analytics that we have in Jacobs 3D. It's been a while, other than the webinars and everyday live teaching, where I've made a bunch of videos to share what we've done. And I think this winter we're going to spend a lot of time doing that. We have a new definition of kinematic sequence, which includes all the parts of the body. That we'll share some of that soon. And then we have the new Work in Power 2 paper. But this one's interesting, and I figured I'd make a quick little show and tell of it, and people could start thinking in this capacity when they think about human movement and sports performance. Uh, One of my good friends and my anatomy teacher, Tom Myers, is famous for his uh, anatomy trains myofascial lines through the body. And one of the biggest helps in my career has been studying anatomy through the lens of Tom. And I really enjoyed it. And I continue on. And I wanted to help quantify some of those principles. And with Dr. Nesbitt aboard as our engineer, we were able to do some of that. So what we did was we took the human body. So let's say I weigh 210 pounds on a good day, and we looked at how my body mass is distributed throughout. My upper arm segment is going to have a certain kind of amount of mass to it, lower arm. And in our full body model, what we do, you'll see on the screen, you see all these little images, which I'm going to explain and show you some things on. Our body is distributed a certain way, and certain parts of the body have more mass than others. So when we move, think of it this way. Um, for me to have the similar type of momentum of a body part, let's say, my chest, which is probably my most massive body part, it doesn't have to move as fast as, let's say, my lower arm, because my lower arm is less massive, to have a similar momentum. So bigger segments, because they're more massive, don't have to move as fast as smaller segments to have similar momentum. Momentum is mass times the velocity of something. So you could see how it's important to understand how different segments of the body speed up, slow down, and transfer to other segments. And that's ultimately the efficiency of human movement and walking and life in our interest, which is golf and other sports. So when we start to look at how the body's distributed, we start to look at how all these segments of the body move with each other, what the best golfers do when they swing a club. And what's most interesting to me is how do these golfers continue to do it day after day, round after round, hitting session after hitting session. You could come and I could help give someone a golf lesson, and I could start to organize the different segments of the body to move better. And when they leave or they go out on the course, things can definitely go awry, as you know, because it's a lot harder for people to continue and sustain this type of more efficient movement. So that's our goal ultimately when somebody comes. It's for me to make them as efficient as they can so that when they play day after day, practice day after day, what they're doing is going to give them the best chance to repeat success. Now, when we start to look at how these body segments interact with each other, there are several different types of analyses that we can do. And I tasked Dr. Nesbitt for the past 2 years while I've been teaching uh, a lot uh, to create as many programs as he could so that going into this winter, which is a big research winter for us, I can analyze more segmental interaction between the different parts of the body. Whether you're walking, running, jumping, playing golf, playing baseball, we're looking at all those. Ultimately, we care about golf, and that's where we put all our focus. And how I can make someone more efficient, ultimately, is the story. So this led to Work in Power 2, the sequel, which is Dr. Nesbitt's famous paper. That is complete. It is in the final stages of being made into a textbook form, hopefully a hardcover, and that should be in everyone's hands before Christmas. It's led to a brand new kinematic sequence using what's called the angle axis theorem. And I think this will completely replace any prior kinematic sequence type discussions. You're going to start to notice how much more layered a so-called kinematic sequence needs to be to have some type of analytical meaning. And this current program that we made here to look a little deeper into how the body structure starts to change itself to fit itself into a golf swing and ultimately hit ball club impact with the way the club's designed and how the human body starts to change its shape. So this leads me to my many year study with anatomy trains and Tom Myers. I recommend everybody starts studying that who's interested in deeper analytics. And one of the things I always wanted to do was to take some of those concepts, for example, and turn it into some type of mathematical thing that Dr. Nesbitt was able to do so that I can analyze it in a swing. So I'm going to give you a quick little video here. It's just a map. It's interesting. You take from it what you'd like. I take a lot from it. So I just did a quick Google image search of some of Tom Myers's myofascial lines, which stuff we always talked about. We did a lot of those classes together. I found this one on the web. This is his superficial back line. You can see it goes from the bottom of the feet up to the top of the head. I suggest everybody watches all of Tom's stuff. He's the best. And then here's the front line. So you can see it's a myofascial continuity from toes to head. And then there's one that was always interesting to me would be the lateral line. We talked about this a lot in our years and how we analyze the swing. And it's how the skeleton, especially in golf, it's how the skeleton of the body would move into the side walls of your body structure. Obviously in golf, when we come in and we come into impact, especially when the right side is more bent, or the trail side, I should say, in case you're lefty, we don't want to discriminate, how the skeleton would move into those lateral sides of the body. Here's one more image that I found. That was just a basic Google image search. All right, so those concepts. So picture some type of continuity of the front side of your body on the very outside, the back side of the body, and let's say the sides of the body, and how the skeleton of the body would move with those sheets of layers of the body, the sides, the front, and the back. Now, as the bones and the structure of the body move, right, there's different types of strain. And like if I slammed into the front side of my body when I'm coming into impact with my skeleton, there's going to be different types of strain and tension on the different sides compared to the right side bend where it might be a little looser. And you'll notice that when you look at these little images here, especially this one, hopefully you can see my cursor right now, you can see how it looks like a bowstring if I had a straight line. So this is how the body changes its shape. Now, when we do our modeling, our model of the human body is a rigid body. So this model that you're seeing is what really happens. We take motion capture of the person, which I'm sure you've all seen, very detailed motion capture from a certain marker set, and then we create a full body model, and the full body model has the characteristics of the human, but the way it's designed is we're just a rigid body. There's no muscles, there's no bones, it's just ellipsoids of the body. Now, the genius part of how Dr. Nesbitt has to model this and make it realistic is those rigid bodies, those ellipsoids, behave and tell us a lot about how the muscles and how the bones would move throughout the motion. So that's just inherent to modeling. All right, let me get to the point of the story here. So what I asked Dr. Nesbitt to do was to distribute the mass of somebody's body so that, which is done anyway in the model, but to look at how the different segments of the body from side to side, front to back, would change their shape in a continuity with each other. So, for example, if I went to do a back arch here, this front part of me would be really opening up while my back line of my body, or the back sheath that we're talking about here, would shorten in the back. So you can see how this would open and the back side would shorten. And on the two sides, if I went into impact, the left side of my body, the front side of my body, would expand as the right side would start to uh, condense in. And that's the change of shape of the different, from toes to top of the head, of the different sides of the body. So this first little analytic here looks at how the body changes shape from the bottom of the feet to the top of the head, from the back, the front, and the two sides. Okay, what does this all mean? Well, let's start with a wedge shot. So this is just an avatar picture of my one of my prize students here, Chen. And you can see it's just a basic rendering, nothing really to write home about, other than that's the top of the backswing when he's hitting a wedge. Now I picked a wedge, so here's Chen at impact with the wedge. I picked the wedge because it's the shortest club in the bag. I also have a driver swing that we're going to look at. So by having the shortest club in the bag, Chen being 6'1", I figured it would give us a way to really see how, from the bottom of the feet to the top of the head, how that person might bend forward and backward during a wedge swing. Also, we're going to see how they bend, how Chen bends side to side. So, for example, here, let's bring in these pieces so that I could explain to you what this means. So at the top of the backswing here, I'm going to make this one bigger so you can see it. This is showing us the top of the backswing. And what you're looking at in this Jacobs 3D imagery is you're looking at the distribution of Chen's body mass during this wedge swing. So he's up at the top of the swing here. You got to get used to seeing our graphics to appreciate what exactly it looks like. But what you're going to notice is at the top of his backswing with his wedge, there you can see there's the center of mass of the club. If you look closely, you can see all the different segments of the body, lower leg, upper leg, feet, pelvis, abdomen, chest, neck, head, upper arm, it's all of our segments. But what you're looking at is how the mass is distributed throughout these different quadrants, which allows us to mathematically define top of the head to bottom of the feet in that bending structure, or the changes in that front to back line of the body that I was explaining, which is you can infer the strain of the body to do that, the lengthening of the different sides, the shortening of the different sides. But it's the best mathematical rendering I've seen of this particular concept. So here's Chen at the top of his backswing, and what you're looking at on the back wall here is this green line represents from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet the distribution of his body front to back. So if I come over here and we take a look at this green line, you can see how it goes. You can see how it goes from the head, bends around, and then comes around to the bottom of the feet. So this would be, if I looked at this green line, I'll move it like this so you can see it. This side of the green line, the front side, would represent from the front of the body, similar to what Tom would call the superficial front line, and then the back of the body, which would be the back line. So this would be top of the head down to the bottom of the feet. This would be the front side all the way up to the head. So what you're looking at is like a shape or a bowstring of how the body mass is being distributed mathematically to 100% accuracy, and how the front and back side of the body have changed shape. And that's ultimately what this shows. Now, this is going to be interesting to me in walking, running, and jumping. Obviously, we care mostly about golf, but that's because we love golf. Here's Chen at impact. So now we have a rendering of the same motion here at impact, same shot, and now we have that front to back line. I have a little video I'll play where you can see the changes throughout the swing. The wedge is not a crazy amount of change as much as the driver, which we'll look at the end. I have a major champion swinging the driver. But there's the front and back line changes shape based on the distribution of his body mass. Okay, now the sides of the body. Looking at how when a golfer moves, how their so-called fish body side to side would move during a swing. Now, to get this analytic as close to that fish body type move, what we did here mathematically is we have the mass distribution of the body, but we've eliminated the arms from that. So what you're looking at is you're looking at the distribution of the body side to side, front to back, as if the arms were a separate entity. They're a different part of the skeleton. They're more of the appendicular skeleton. So we're looking here more at from the top of the head to the feet. Arms and club are doing their thing. We're looking at how from head to feet we're moving and changing shape while our arms are in a different category, which is very important. We could bring arms into the category and tie it all together. That's what we do in a lot of our other things. But let's look at this side to side type lateral distribution of the main frame of our body. So here's Chen at the point of impact. And what you'll notice is the red line represents the shape of the lateral side of his body. So when you look here and you look at this impact picture and you see this curve of the red, you'll notice how the curve of the red is exactly what you would expect it to look like. The whole front side has expanded and the back side looks like it's caved in body mass wide as there's side bend to hit a shot. So the skeleton of the body, you're going to see it's a lot more extreme on the driver swing of the major champion here in a second. I think the wedge is probably the most mild of all of the slamming the body into the lateral side. But I thought the wedge would be a great way to see the front back change of shape. So there's the actual mathematical lateral side of the body and its distribution of body mass. So I'm going to take this impact one away. Let's look at top of the swing. So now when we go top of the swing, here's the lateral distribution of Chen's body here. You can see there is the top part of Chen, the top part of his skeleton from here, from head, what looks like to almost down towards just below the thighs. That part of the body is distributed more into the lead side of the lateral part of the body. And then the lower body is from the lower legs down is more into the other side. So essentially from femurs down, knees down, the body, the lower body skeleton is more pushed into the right side of the lower part. So if I take that image I found that I believe Tom would have created in his book here. So this part right here down by the fibulary muscles, iliotibial tract, as it comes to the knee, you'll notice that in Chen's wedge shot here, that part of the body leans a different way into the lateral side of the body than the upper. And you can see those changes in bowstrings. And that tells us a lot about how the whole fabric of the body from head to feet is changing throughout the motion. All right, so this I thought would be interesting. So there's Chen at the top of the backswing. There's his front to back. And then there's his shape there. Now, if we look at a major champion here, I'm going to pull this in. What you're seeing here now is, before I do that, let me just play Chen's swing for you so you can see what it looks like in action. The wedge is going to be your least dramatic. But what I want you to see is when you look at the, just look at the right side, the red and the green, and how they're changing shape throughout the motion. So that's something we're going to continue to monitor, how the skeleton of the body and the mass distribution of the body pushes against the front and side walls of your body throughout the swing. Now this is going to tell the most when you hit a driver in a longer club, because you're probably displacing more of your body mass around, and there's definitely more happening as you slam into the different sides of your body. So here's a former major champion at ball impact. I left all the metrics on there because what you're seeing here is this is how we did it with the distribution of the different parts. So this is telling me how much of the mass is in the different quadrants that are distributed, what percentage. There's some other things that we do analytic wise. But what I want you to see here is this golfer at ball impact is take a look at the bowstring of the front side of the body, and how the front, you won't be able to see the front to back one because I came straight into this one because I wanted to highlight this part. So look at how the main frame of the body, from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet, look at how it slams into the front side of the body there. So I think this is going to be a great analytic. I figured I would share it today. Um, yeah, so I would look at these, give it some thought, and I think you're going to see a lot of samples of this as we go on. So the different, when we watch golfers, we see totally different configurations of their body. And it's a lot to do with more of how different the fabric of our body is, and how we're able to manipulate it and move, and how the skeleton moves in this sea of tension of our body, and how the different ways that we change the shape of the mass of our body shows us how we put different strains on the side walls, front to back, side to side. Now it's obviously more complicated to that, and we love complicated, so we will get into that. But I hope everyone enjoys this. I thought this would be a great little discussion piece here in September. We call this the spaghetti model because you can see these strings of the body here look like spaghetti, and every time we watch those hurricane things, they're always talking about spaghetti models. So this is the Jacobs 3D spaghetti model. Thank you. Have a good day.